Mercedes-Benz sport cars.
But before we start, please support us by pressing like and subscribe buttons. Also turn on the bell notification to get the latest updates. Your support means a lot to us. Thank you.
A sports car is a car designed with an emphasis on dynamic performance, such as handling, acceleration, top speed, the thrill of driving and racing capability. Sports cars originated in Europe in the early 1900s and are currently produced by many manufacturers around the world. From year to year, Mercedes-Benz has released sports cars that are capable, tough and comfortable to drive. With a cool and stunning look, Mercedes-Benz has always succeeded in captivating the hearts of sports car lovers in the world. In many ways, Mercedes-Benz sports cars are amazing, but they're also very important. For those of you who love the adrenaline rush of high speed and excellent performance, then of course the choice of Mercedes-Benz can be a mainstay. In the following we will discuss several types of sports cars from Mercedes-Benz. Let's see in full the following. 1. Mercedes-AMG GT. The SLS, were you lucky enough to encounter one, tended to make an impression? As Teutonic as the Bismarck and not a whole lot smaller, the gullwing door attention getter had a way of commanding your gaze without ever entirely satisfying it. The GT redresses that balance. The proportions are similar, but it comes with a cavia body. It's shorter by 92 mm and, from more than one angle, sensationally appealing. Not every tester appreciated the flagrantly pinched rear quarters, but admiration for the GT's stylish image was virtually universal. There are those, perhaps, who will miss the SLS's extravagant method of entry and exit, but besides cost, the doors are conventionally hinged for a good reason. The absence of top-heavy gullwings contributes to the lowering of the GT's center of gravity. 2. Mercedes-AMG GT-R. We could go on for many times the normal length of this section explaining exactly how Mercedes-AMG has tweaked and transformed the ordinary Mercedes-AMG GT super sports car to turn it into the GT-R. Its efforts vary from the predictable to the groundbreaking and include some deliciously purposeful modifications to the car's engine, transmission, chassis, and suspension. The headline news is that the GT-R is 15 kilograms lighter than the standard GT-S, although that is an advantage you can double if you select AMG's carbon ceramic brake option, yet it has a wider body than the GT-S and also a reinforced chassis that is significantly more rigid. 3. Mercedes-AMG GT-S. The absolutely stunning bodywork of the 2021 Mercedes-AMG GT will no doubt draw your eye, but it's more than just a pretty face. The low and wide GT is also an extremely capable high-performance sports car. This is Mercedes's front-engine answer to the rear-engine Porsche 911. Offered at various points, the GT features a hand-built twin-turbo V8. Although this AMG isn't as immersive to drive as its arch-rival from Porsche, it's still super athletic, and most models are surprisingly civil on streets that aren't racetrack smooth. Those who prefer a more refined Grand Tourer will appreciate the 523 horsepower GT and 550 horsepower GTC, and those with sportier desires will gravitate toward the 577 horsepower GT-R and GT-R Pro. Most models are available in coupe and soft-top roadster forms, but the track-focused Pro and almighty 720 horsepower Black Series are hardtop only. 4. Mercedes-AMG GTC. The GTC, driven here in the UK for the first time, slots into the range between the GT-S and track-day-ready GT-R. It adopts the active rear steering and electronically controlled locking differential of the latter but goes without the unyielding racing buckets, mad diffuser or rear wing. You get a dinky retractable spoiler instead. Not that there isn't drama here. You can most easily identify AC by the extraordinary breadth of its aluminium rear bodywork, which is 57 mm wider than that of the standard car, and 305-section Michelin Pilot Supersport tires. Meanwhile, the car's MA gets the chrome braces of Mercedes Panamericana grille, now found across the range. All in, AMG's more affordable follow-up to the SLS still looks sensationally purposeful. So purposeful, in fact, that you might wonder what might be required to loosen the vast rear contact patch. The answer is the same dry-sumped, twin-turbocharged 4.0-liter V8 found elsewhere in the range. For the C, it develops 550 brake horsepower, bridging the gap between GTS and GTR and outgunning Porsche S911 Turbo. 5. Mercedes-AMG GT 63S. Operating at 400 V, the motor adds 201 brake horsepower to the 630 brake horsepower of the engine, lifting power well beyond that of the rival Porsche Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid, 690 brake horsepower, as well as traditional super saloons like the BMW M5 Competition, 616 brake horsepower. It's the torque that benefits the most, though, climbing from an already potent 663 pounds-ft to a considerably more serious 1,082 pounds-ft. The decision to mount the motor at the rear allows its drive to be channeled directly to the rear wheels via a 2-speed gearbox. The engine, meanwhile, sends its reserves to all 4 wheels via the 9-speed SpeedShift MCT automatic gearbox of the GT63S. There are 6 driving modes: slippery, electric, comfort, sport, sport plus and race. The drive dynamic controller also supports an individual mode that allows you to tailor various aspects of the car. 6. Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG. If there is one concept that runs throughout the Mercedes SLS, it is the meeting of old and new. Obviously, the SLS's styling has been heavily inspired by the past, and specifically the original 300 SL Gullwing, but it is a shape that has been reinterpreted for the 21st century. We doubt anyone would mistake the SLS for anything but a brand new car. Part of its visual impact comes from the proportions, with that massive bonnet and rear set cabin, but also the SLS's considerable width. At 1939 mm, it is broader than in Mercedes-Benz's class. The door handles pop out automatically when you unlock the coupe, and retract when the car moves off. Alternatively, the auto release can be deactivated, in which case they appear only when the button to the right is pressed. The Roadster's doors are entirely conventional, in contrast. Alloys are 19 inches at the front, 20 inches at the rear. Although there is no choice of size, 3 designs are available. A 7-spoke design is standard, 5-spoke items are the cheaper option, a 10-spoke design the most expensive. 7. Mercedes-Benz AMG GT 4-door coupe. The arsenal of technology required to make a 5.05 m long, 2.1-ton car handle like a smaller, lighter, lower-slung sports car takes some wrapping your head around. The GT 4-door coupe does without the lightweight space-frame construction of its 2-door namesake, instead relying on Mercedes' MRA monocoque car platform, and that's why it weighs so much, and why there is so much physics for all that tech to overcome. Our GT63 4MATIC Plus test subject, the current entry-level derivative for the UK market, is powered by a Falterbacca's 4.0-liter bi-turbo V8 engine. The hot V configuration of the motor's twin turbochargers should be familiar, but the use of so-called anti-friction bearings inside those turbochargers is new and helps to sharpen the motor's responses. In the GT63, the V8 makes a peak 577 brake horsepower and 590 pounds-ft, the latter spread from 2,500 RPM to 5,000 RPM. 8. Mercedes-Benz SL Class. Having familiarized itself with the use of structural aluminium while producing the hand-built SLS, Mercedes has taken the plunge by making the new SL its first series production car to be built predominantly from the stuff. The state-of-the-art superstructure contains chill-cast, die-cast, stamped and extruded aluminium parts, as well as some magnesium and hot-formed galvanized steel. The components, joined using 6 different methods, contribute to a body in white weight 25% less than it would be in steel, along with a 20% boost in static torsional stiffness. 9. Mercedes-Benz SLC Class. This SLC Roadster is an imperfect and slightly confusing way to introduce Mercedes-AMG's new range of medium-hot 43 models for one very good reason: its rear-wheel drive. The similar-engined V6 saloons, coupes and estates due to follow it will all feature not just 9-speed automatic gearboxes, but also all-corner Firmatic drivelines. The cornerstones of AMG's 43 Mini brand will be defined as performance value, all-weather usability and decent real-world fuel economy. That's largely virgin territory for AMG in every instance.
Thanks for watching. Drop a like, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to watch more videos like this.